All right, so let's go ahead and get right in. All right, so this is the snowman here that we're going to be making today. And if you bought my kit, it came in a similar bag to this. And let's just open it up and see what we've got. So basically, as soon as you open it up, you're going to have a foam inside. And at the end of the foam, you'll see 2 gray marks. Be very careful, as these are your needles, okay? There's 2 inside, okay? Because sometimes we end up breaking them, okay, when we first start. So we've got our foam, okay, and we've got our needles. And then if you pull out the rest, you'll see some colors, okay? The colors may vary based on the kit, because when it comes to the snowman, you know, anything goes, you know. So we've got green, we've got red, we've got some orange and a bit of a black here. So just try to separate it. That's this little tiny bit here is for your eyes because you're not going to need very much. This little bit here is for orange for the nose. You're not going to use very much of this. And what this red you can use for your scarf, okay? And then this is the main part of your snowman, and this is wool roving, okay? So it's super soft, and this is what we're going to use. So the first thing that we're going to do with this is we're going to divide it, because our snowman's going to have 2. We're going to have a head and just a body. So I want you to grab it, and what you're going to do is you're going to just slowly divide it, okay, just like this, and you're going to put one side away, okay? And right now we don't need the foam, so we're just going to set that to the side as well, okay? And I'm just going to move my table closer to me here. So I am going to put my black over here, my little pile. So here you've got your roving, okay? So we're going to lay it down, and what you're going to do is we need to make a ball. And the part of this is that you want to make sure that there's no air getting in. So we're going to roll, and then you're going to pinch a corner in, roll, corner in, roll, corner in, roll, roll, corner in, roll. And just gently using your fingertips, just try your best to pinch as much as that as you can, because you want this nice and tight. So we're just going to keep folding in those corners, okay? And we're going to pinch, and we're kind of making a little ball as we do this. And why you're pinching the corners in is because that is making the ball as we roll it, okay? So that's it. We're going to just keep on going, pinch and roll as you go. It does get a bit hard to do at some point, but just keep on going. You'll get it. Good. Hopefully you can see this in my video. All right, and then this last little bit, I just like to kind of wrap it around like a cocoon. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this in my hand, and I'm going to roll it. Just a little bit of a roll, nothing too major. And you can see that it kind of keeps its form, okay? Now, it's not a perfect ball, as you can see, but that's where you're going to use your needles, okay? And you're going to start to go gently in, just up and down, up and down. You're going to hear the needles grabbing the fiber, and it's pushing it together, okay? That's what it's doing. We're just going to go up and down. You're going to turn it as much as you can. Be careful of your fingers. Try to stay to the back if you can, okay? Now you're going to start to see me go a little bit faster, but that's because I'm comfortable, but you're going to go at your own pace, okay? So I'm just slowly starting to make a ball, and it's okay that I've got 2 going on here, because the more you poke, the more you'll be able to form that ball, okay? And the other part of that is that if your ball gets too disoriented, doesn't start to look, you can always add a second piece of wool over top. So right now I'm pushing down as I stab, okay? I'm pushing it down, and I'm just pushing it all in around because I'm trying to make that ball, that little round shape, okay? Now I'm going to flip it over and I'm still pushing it down and I'm just going at it and needling it. Okay. And now I'm doing it again. And just keep turning. Just keep turning it. You don't want to just do one area because then it'll become flat. So don't be afraid to just keep turning. Now I am going to pick them up and I'm going to roll it in my hands a little bit. And if you don't want to roll it on your hands, you can always roll it. I have a mat underneath this, you know, or you can even roll it on top of your mat, right? That's what we got you the mat for. So I'm just going to roll it in my hand and then I'm just going to keep going. And you're going to want to poke this for a long time, okay? Quite a long time is what you're going to want to do. Okay, so as you can see, mine is not as smooth. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to just take a small bit of our wool and I'm going to take it from the end. I don't need a whole lot and I'm just going to very gently pull a tiny little bit. And I'm just going to wrap that around the ball, my snowball, and that's going to smooth it out for me. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to jab. Right, I'm just going to go ahead and jab that in, nice and gentle. And that's going to help to smooth out my snowball, okay, for the bottom of my snowman. So see how that's just kind of nicely smoothed out my snowball. So I've decided I'm going to use this one as my bottom, my snowman. So I want to make a nice smooth flat bottom so he'll stand up. So I'm going to now just poke as much as I can on the ones on this side so that I get it nice and flat and firm. And that's what's going to keep my snowman being able to stand up nice and straight. Okay. So this is what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to stab the bottom of them here, up and down the whole time you're watching your fingers that you don't hurt yourself. And as you can see, if I flip this up, my snowman is going to sit nice and flat. So now that we're done with that one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just set him aside for right now. And now I'm going to take my next piece of roving, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and I feel like I probably don't need this much, so I am going to divide it again, just in case. And then that way I still have some if I want to add some. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to scrunch up here a little bit. We're going to roll and pinch in those corners. Roll, pinch in those corners. Roll, pinch in those corners, okay? And that's how we're going to go. This is how we're going to do this. Roll and pinch in those corners. Roll and pinch in those corners. Trying to get as much of that air out of this wool as possible. That's what we're doing. So then we don't have to do as much stabbing. Okay. Don't be afraid to pull out your roving as you go. Just gently straighten it out there for you. And then just keep tucking in those corners and rolling. And then, like I said, you're going to take this last little bit here. You're just going to wrap it. And we're just going to gently kind of roll it in our hands. You can even do it this way. And now I'm going to put it down. And I want to be able to have it hold. So I'm going to just start to poke. At the same time, I'm pushing down a little bit on it. And this is going to be the head. Now just gently up and down, watching your fingers, up and down. Good. Okay. Keeping your fingers away. You're just jabbing straight up and down. You don't want to go in sideways and pull because you'll break your needle. So it's always up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Now you could go in on the side like that, but it has to be a straight motion. Don't pull on the needle because you'll break it. Now you would want to continue to poke this for quite a bit more time, but because I'm making this video, I'm just going to show you. Okay, so my head's a little bit hard here, so that's about how I want it. I did take it just for a minute and I just rolled it again in my hands to make sure that I got a nice smooth finish. Now I'm going to bring up my other piece and I want to now decide which side I want up. So this is a bit flatter. So I'm now going to set my snowball on top of one another. Okay. And now I'm going to just go in and I'm going to go down, up, and then go in again and up. And this is going to pull those threads in there. And that's what's going to hold your snowman's head on. And you're going to do this a couple times to make sure, more than a couple times, probably 10 to 15 times all the way around until the head is attached. Okay. And you can hear as you do it, you will literally hear the wool grabbing. You can almost hear a tiny little crunch going on in there. And so now we've just about got this attached on here. You can see if I pull, there's still a little bit. Now the other thing you can do is you can take your needle and go straight in at the top of the head and hold and just go up and down. And that too will also attach the head. So just again, might be more than 15. It's whatever number you need to get the head to stay on. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with my snowman because I don't want my snowman to be perfect. So I've got my head on, it's not coming off. So now what I've decided is I want to take and make him a nice red scarf. So I know I don't need this much red, so I'm just going to turn around and I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of red off. But what I am going to do is I'm going to roll it in my fingers and I'm going to roll it back and forth. Okay. And what that's going to do is it's kind of binding the fibers together. But now I'm going to lay it down. I want to keep the wispy ends on each end. And now I'm going to just jab a tiny couple times to keep the threads together, the fiber together. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at my snowman and decide where I want his face to be. And I think I'm going to go with there. So now I'm going to just place my scarf and I want to crisscross it. So what I'm going to do is I just kind of lay it down. And now what I'm going to do is I take my needle and I just poke to secure that scarf. That's it. So now it's secure. It's not going to go anywhere. But right now my scarf is a little bit too long on both sides. So I'm just going to trim this up. But I like the wispiness. So if I go in with my scissors on an angle, I still get a really nice bit of a wisp on the end. So I'm just going to tack that down a little bit again, just using my needle. This piece here is a little bit too long as well, so we're just going to trim it up. I'm going to move that. Now I'm just going to put it, I think I'm going to move it a little bit closer here, more in front. Yeah, that's where I like that. There we go. So now our snowman, okay, has a cute little scarf, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to just take this green that we have. We're going to take this green that we have here. You're not going to need all of this green. So we're only going to take a small little bit of it here. Okay. And what I'm going to do is we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to move our snowman over. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing that we did to build a snowman, but now I'm trying to make a cylinder. Okay. I want to make a cylinder. So I'm not going to tuck nearly as much, but I am tightly rolling it because I do want to make, and I am going to jab as I go. And now I'm going to pull it off and I am going to just roll. I do think I am going to tuck this one little end in. Okay, and I'm just going to jab it there. And then I'm going to roll some more because I want to make him look like he's got a bit of a top hat. I'm going to jab some more. And then I'm going to just keep on rolling. And I'm happy with that. And now I'm going to just stab again. And now I'm going to pull this off. And you can see here that I've got a nice little bit of a hat. So I'm going to just kind of very carefully pull the pieces in at the bottom. And this is going to create our top hat. Just be very careful of your fingers and just do an up and down motion. Now, if you wanted, you could definitely take a cardboard, or you could take something that's going to stop it from pricking you, and you could hold it like this and then just gently go up and down. So this is what's going to be the little top of the hat, which I quite like. So we're going to set that aside. So now I'm going to take a little bit more of this green, but I don't need a whole lot. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull a tiny little wisp. Okay, I'm just going to pull a tiny little wisp. You can actually still see through it, through my hand. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just pull this all up. I'm going to kind of pull it apart, messing it up so it's not all the fibers aren't going all in the one direction. And now what I like to do is now I'm going to kind of pull it out a little bit. I'm going to place it in my hands, in my two fingers. And now I'm just going to gently start to kind of bring it around in a circle. Nice loose circle. I don't want it to be too. And now what I'm going to do is see how I've got a nice little circle. Now I'm going to start to jab it in a circle. And that's going to be the bottom of our hat. And don't be afraid to pull it off of your phone. Flip it over, okay? And then we're going to jab it some more. Bring in those pieces to make it nice and round. Using your needle to do that. And now I also like to take it and rub it in my fingers. at this point. I like to just rub it in my fingers, use a bit of friction from my hands and my fingers. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to just basically take the needle and you're going to go up and you're just going to push down in. A couple times up and down. Be careful again of your fingers. You can also go around it just like we did the snowman. And then you can see, now we're going to add this to our snowman to make him have a little kind of top hat. Then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to hold and you're going to push down in and just go around the hat and just gently poke all the way around. There we go. He's got a nice, it's a super tall hat, I can tell you that. But the more that you stab it down in, the more you can change the shape. So for me, it's sitting a little sideways. So there's his hat. So now he has his hat on. He has a nice little scarf here, okay? So now we've got some orange and we got some black. So I'm going to start with the eyes. So we're going to take a little tiny bit of this black. I pinch it in my one finger and I gently roll it around in a very small little bit here. And then I rub it kind of in my fingers and then I'm going to place it where I want it. And I'm going to put his eye right here. And you don't want to stab it too much because if you do, you're going to lose it in there. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to just grab a little bit. Again, I pinch it and then I wrap it around basically in my index finger and my thumb. And then that's kind of what I'm left with. And then I roll it just a little bit and then I place it where I want it. So there's his eyes. So we're done with the black. And now let's give him his little nose. So I've got some orange here. So what I like to do again is I like to just take a piece off of it. I like to just take a small piece off. And then I like to fold it in half. I like to roll the one end in my fingers. I like to roll the one end in my fingers. Okay. And then I leave one end a little tiny bit of fuzz. So we're going to just trim it like this a little bit. And then on top of that, I'm also going to jab my needle in. And then I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to roll it in my fingers again because I want my nose to stand up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it on where I want him. And now I'm just going to jab it in. And it's okay that it kind of gets pulled in because you can straighten it out in a minute. But even carrots aren't perfect. Once you know that you have it on there, you can go ahead and give it another little twist. But then there is your snowman. And hopefully you will enjoy. You can hang him on the tree. Thank you very much today for coming along and buying my kit. Thank you and have a great day.